Today's video is different. That's all I can say is it's different. It is inspired by recent events. Don't have a script for this video because I want it to be what I feel. What this video is not going to be is an attack on white people. So if you're going to try to make it that, there's no point. If you comment down below with something foolish like that, your comment will be removed. That my intention here is not to blast white people or non-black people. It's really just to open up a discussion, and you want to know how you can help, or you want to know, am I biased? Am I prejudiced? Could I possibly be racist? Are these things that I feel and think actions and thoughts that lend themselves to racism? If you really are curious and you want to be a part of solving the problem, I welcome you. There are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to Black people. There are the well-known and obvious ones, such as the idea of the angry Black woman, and obviously the stereotype about Black men who, their pants sag, or they use, broken English or Ebonics or whatever you want to call it. There's so many, but one of the biggest ones that is taken so far out of context is the entire Black Lives Matter movement. There are so many people who, rather than acknowledge the fact that to the American people and to the general population, Black lives don't matter, rather than acknowledge that, they would rather try to say, well, don't all lives matter? Don't blue lives matter? Don't this lives matter? First of all, any person who stands behind the Black Lives Matter movement is not saying that other lives do not matter. That has never been what the movement was about. This movement was a response to the continuous and repeated mistreatment of Black people in America, and this goes back for centuries. Okay? We can all agree that slavery happened. There are so many people in the United States who do not want to address that this is real. This is not new, but it's happening so much more rapidly than it has been before. You cannot tell me that George Floyd, regardless of whatever type of person he was, his positive or negative COVID diagnosis, you cannot tell me that he deserved to lose his life over a supposed $20 counterfeit bill that was found to be real. So that's the first point I want to make, is that Black Lives Matter does not equal all other lives don't matter. It's just the fact that, hey, while we're all over here celebrating and lifting up all these other groups, and we're still continuously beating Black people down to the ground, obviously you need to be reminded that Black Lives Matter. The second thing is that Black Lives Matter is not an anti-cop movement. People who are protesting right now are not against cops. They are not against the law. They are against corrupt cops. They are already aware that not all cops are bad, so you don't need to tell anyone who is being vocal about their opinion on social media or elsewhere that, hey, not all cops are bad. Anyone with half a brain knows that. Anyone knows that you cannot apply a generalization to every single member of a demographic, okay? The next thing that I want to talk about is the rioting, the looting, and the protesting. I have seen so many people say the same thing over and over again. How is looting and rioting and destroying your own communities solving the problem? Well, first of all, let me tell you, the peaceful protesters and the rioters and looters are not the same group of people. A lot of people are speaking publicly and embarrassing themselves, really, and exposing that they haven't done a lick of research. In fact, many of the people that started the looting and the rioting are white people, and many of them are white supremacists. And the reason why they have started this is because they want people who are not going to do any research, people who are just going to see Black faces and be offended. They want those people to say, well, look what those Black people are doing. They're burning down cities. That's not what the majority of the Black people who are out there protesting are doing. because Black people already know that if they go that route, they're going to be giving people exactly what they want to see, that we're violent, that we riot, that we get out of hand.
Stuff like this ain't right. Stuff like this ain't right. That's what the problem is. We out here standing together peacefully, protesting without any problems. You got people of all races spraying on buildings talking about Black Lives Matter. That ain't even us. You got police officers coming to a peaceful protest spraying gas on us. We ain't even did nothing. Don't let the media fool you. When they see the vandalism on these places, know that it wasn't us.
That's not the majority of Black people that are out protesting. The majority of them are protesting peacefully. So please do your research and find out who these people are that are being caught on camera vandalizing property. For the most part, it's not us, and it is definitely not the Black Lives Matter movement. There have actually been several pictures and several stories of Black people saying, you know, we're not going to tolerate violence at our protest. Or there was even a picture going around of a cop who had apparently gotten separated from the rest of his unit. And, you know, there were some people in the crowd who were getting rowdy, because you're always going to have people in the crowd who want to take things to the next level. But the leaders in that group literally shielded this cop from the crowd of people that were really ready to, I don't know what, but to go crazy. So before you just say that Black people are out here destroying their own cities and their own neighborhoods, please do your research and find out what Black people are really doing, and find out what other non-Black people are doing. The biggest problem is not even the extremely bigoted people that make threats and that really don't want to be educated. The biggest problem is that group of people who knows that this is wrong, who knows that they want to do something, but they're either afraid of maybe what their other non-Black friends will say, their white friends or whoever else, their Asian friends, their Hispanic friends, or they literally are uneducated and may not feel safe coming to a Black person and having this conversation. I'm going to be honest, racial tensions are high right now. So there might be a little bit of hesitation for you to approach. So here's what I want to say to you. It's all about how you pose your question and how you precede your question. Okay? If you start your statement with, I know Black Lives Matter, but that's not going to be received well, because everyone knows that but negates what was said before it. If you tell your husband or your wife, yeah, you're attractive, but what comes after that but is going to supersede whatever compliment you think you gave them. So approaching a Black person with a genuine question and phrasing our struggle and then a but and then something that you are really implying is more important is not going to get a good reaction from a Black person. The best thing that you can do is just be honest and say, hey, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to ask this. I don't know what's the most appropriate way to ask it. I don't know what's the most non-offensive way to ask it. When you come with that spirit of being sensitive and being aware and wanting to be educated, most Black people are going to be receptive to that and want to have a conversation with you. But it has to stay a conversation where both people are hearing and understanding the other side of the story. Your needs. Right now, what the Black community needs from you is your support and your voice, because there are tons of other white people that will not listen to a black face no matter how educated or eloquent they are. They just won't. So we need allies. And I think that's where I'm going to in this video, is that we need allies. An ally is not someone that has to go join a protest. An ally is not someone that has to go riot. There's so many different ways that you can be an ally to the Black community. And if you are really, really interested, please leave me a comment down below and just say, how can I help? Or I would like to learn more about how I can support the Black Lives Matter movement. We don't want our experience in America to be belittled by someone who's never lived it. I'm sorry if this was too intense for you, too racially charged, or whatever the case may be, but this is something that is too close to my heart because I have a father, I have brothers, I have uncles, I have nephews. And honestly, it's not just Black men anymore. There's so much more to tackle and to talk about. I want to hear what you guys want to know about my experience as a Black woman in America, some of my family's experience as Black people in America. Thank you guys so much for watching and for listening. I know it might have felt a little bit like I was rambling, but I wanted this to be authentic because this is real. This is real life. This is not a script. If you've made it to the end of this video, then I appreciate it. I really appreciate your desire to learn and to grow. And I will see you guys in the next video.